Thank you, Ijoma. Hello and welcome to Sports News. Senegal and Nigeria have been confirmed as the hosts of the next two editions of the WAFU Cup of Nations. Senegal will become the first Zone A team to host for next year's two-week tournament in September 2019. Nigeria has been named as home to the third edition of the WAFU Cup of Nations, also to take place in September 2021. WAFU secured a multi-year partnership with Fox Sports in December 2016, which provides a long-term injection of investment into infrastructure, training and development of West African football across 16 countries over a period of 12 years. Staying with football, Heimer Holgramsson has stepped down as Iceland coach after 7 years with the team. He was the co-coach with Swede Lars Lagerbäck when Iceland reached the Euro 2016 quarterfinals after beating England in the last 16. Following his departure, that is Lagerbäck's departure, the 51-year-old took sole control of the team and they became the smallest country by population to qualify for the World Cup. They lost 2 out of 3 matches in Group D of the tournament, but produced a resilient display to draw 1-1 with former world champions Argentina. Meanwhile, Australia's all-time leading goal scorer Tim Cahill retired from international football Tuesday, ending an illustrious career that has taken him to 4 World Cups. The 38-year-old, who scored 50 international goals in 107 appearances, last played for the Socceroos when he came off the bench for their final group game against Peru at the World Cup in Russia. The former Everton striker, one of the finest players to come out of Australia, did not say if he would continue playing club football. In 2007, he became the first Australian to score at an Asian Cup, and he helped the Socceroos win the Asian title for the first time in 2015. Finally, and away from football, in tennis, former world #1 Angelique Kerber says her Wimbledon triumph on Saturday was the highlight of her career. Speaking at her first press conference in Germany after her win, she says it took a while for it to sink in, but it was always her dream to lift the trophy. The 30-year-old produced a superb display to beat Serena Williams 6-3, 6-3 and became the first German since Steffi Graf in 1996 to lift the Venus Rosewater dish on center court. And that's it on Sports News. Ijoma will be back with the rest of the news at 10.
Thanks a lot, Olumide. U.S. President Donald Trump says his meeting with the Russian president went even better than the NATO summit he attended at Brussels. After talks with Mr. Putin, he contradicted his own intelligence agencies by saying he could not see any reason why Russia would meddle in the 2016 U.S. election that he won. Mr. Trump's comments put himself out of step with the U.S. intelligence agencies, which concluded that Russia was behind an effort to tip the 2016 presidential elections against Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton with a state-authorized campaign of cyber attacks and fake news stories planted on social media. Top administration officials have accepted this conclusion, such as former CIA Director Mike Pompeo, who is now Mr. Trump's Secretary of State. Some U.S. politicians had called for the summit to be cancelled after 12 Russian military intelligence agents were indicted last week, accused of hacking Mrs. Clinton's election campaign.
The landmark meeting of the U.S. and Russian president in Finland is being sold by the leaders as the first step on the road to salvaging stricken relations. However, in the build-up, critics have accused the U.S. president of being the Kremlin's propaganda arm. Critics had urged the president to use the summit to press President Putin over alleged meddling in the U.S. presidential election and other malign activities. But the opposite happened on Monday.
I think that the United States has been foolish. I think we've all been foolish. We should have had this dialogue a long time ago. A long time, frankly, before I got to office. And I think we're all to blame. I think that the United States now has stepped forward along with Russia, and we're getting together, and we have a chance to do some great things, whether it's nuclear proliferation in terms of stopping, because we have to do it. Ultimately, that's probably the most important thing that we can be working on. But I do feel that we have both made some mistakes. I think that the probe is a disaster for our country. I think it's kept us apart. It's kept us separated. There was no collusion at all. Everybody knows it.
Many would disagree that the probe is a disaster, especially recently when on Friday, a panel of federal judges indicted 12 Russians for hacking into the Democratic Party website and its candidate Hillary Clinton's campaign. This was confirmed by Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. Despite this, the US president held firm to his affirmations that there was no collusion.
And the main news again. President Muhammadu Buhari today solicited support for the International Criminal Court in the fight against corruption and illicit financial flows. Also today, Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose made his first public appearance after his party lost to the ruling All Progressives Congress during last Saturday's governorship election in the state. And US President Donald Trump has reversed comments over poll meddling after outrage from Americans, including his supporters. Well, that's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks so much for staying with us. Ijoma Onyato. Do have a good night.